I'm Jordan Zachary from the Progress Report here with Representative Gene Wu of Texas. He represents Houston. He is the Democratic Minority Leader in the Texas legislature, and we have a lot to talk about. A lot going on in Texas. Gene, thanks for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I first got, I've watched you over the years. Your big walkout, the quorum break last year, which we'll talk about as well. Big anniversary for that. But the thing that caught my eye and made me reach out was a story about the new Southern strategy, as
Yeah.
you guys are calling it. This idea that obviously the original Southern strategy was a Republican way to, exploit race and other things to make the South Republican. But you guys, for Democrats, have what you're calling a new Southern strategy. And I'm curious, what is that all about?
Some of this is just, you know what? I'm so sick of it. I want to throw all this crap back in their faces, like all the stuff, all the propaganda they spin against us, all the things they've done against Americans. I want to take that language and take what they're doing and just like throw it back in their face. And this is kind of that, not just like to spite them, but to actually do something,
Okay.
right? So we had this, monster fight last year about this time. This is the 1 year anniversary of the corn break, and you know, back then, we felt like we were all alone. We felt like nothing we would do would matter, and we said like, shit, we're gonna do and try this. We're gonna make the one last effort at this, and if they run us over, fine. But we're gonna scream our
Mhm.
heads off and try to get people to pay attention. And we were like, holy crap, people actually cared.
Yeah.
Like Americans are waking up. Um, like we still got run over, but we got the rest of the country to get up and fight. And look, and we said, look, when we fight together, when we are coordinated, when we share this common, like the common language of resistance, when we fight back as one, we win, like handedly. And that made us think like we had already gone through our legislative fight, and they steamrolled us, did all the terrible things that said they were going to do to us. And after the Supreme Court ruling, we saw other states getting ready to fight their
Mhm.
battles, and we started talking to them. And some of us helped us in our corn break, and they joined us. And just some other states came and just like put their arms around us and said, "Hey, we're with you."
Right.
And those same states, we went back and said, "Hey, what can we do to help you?" And they said, like, "Look, well, we need this, this, and this." And like, "Hey, we already did that, did all those things for when we had to fight this. Why don't we just give it to you instead of you having to spend your own money and time and effort to do all these things?" Texas ain't that much different than Georgia or Alabama.
Mhm.
Like, we can just share materials. And it kind of made us think. Like all these attacks on our community, whether it's ICE, whether it's redistricting, whether it's like anti-Asian attacks, whether it's anti-Sharia attacks, or all
Yep.
these different things, it's coming from the same source. They're unified in their attack of our communities, in the destruction of our nation. So why shouldn't our defense be unified, right? And this is something like after we think about it, we're like, yeah, why didn't we do this years ago? Because of the original Southern strategy,
Sure.
right? The original Southern strategy was created to divide communities, to say like, poor people, if you're poor and black, you have nothing to do with poor and white. If you're poor and white, you have nothing to do with poor and Latino. And everyone just your own, not only just in your own little silos, but you're in your own little silos within your own little state. And we all get slaughtered alone.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of getting slaughtered. I'm tired of our community. I'm tired of the middle class, the working class people of this country getting stomped on. And every time we get up and try to say, look, we need more money for education. We need actual health care. We have to have jobs that are worth working for. And we get shouted down. And the problem is too much of it is unheard, unseen by the communities because we're spread thin, we're divided, we're siloed. So we never have the time, we never have the opportunities. But when we come together like we did during the corn break, and we are all shouting with the same voice, they're screwing us over. They're stealing from us. They're ripping away our future. Maybe then Americans will hear. Maybe then the people in the South, people in the communities that they're counting on not voting in order to carry out their illegal gerrymandering. They're counting on them not responding. If we can get them to respond, then all their evil intent will be meaningless. Let's go beat them at their own game.
So from what I understand, it's, Texas lawmakers, Texas Democrats, lawmakers, and well, always Democrats in Georgia and
Yeah,
Alabama and all these places kind of coming together. And like, I know you had a meeting in Atlanta,
yeah,
already one meeting. So what
yeah,
does it look like in practicality? You talk about sharing things, but what does it
yeah.
mean?
Just like look, I'm when I tell you, you're gonna say, "Duh, why haven't you idiots been doing this for years?" And like, I don't know, I don't have a good answer for that. But look, we went to Georgia. It was us, Texas, and like I think 6 or 7 other states, and some other states wanted to be there but couldn't make it. And this is we're just starting out, and in that first hour, just sitting down for lunch and just shooting the breeze and just talking about like redistricting, what it was like, what we did. Like a dozen ideas flowed back and forth through different states and other states that were about to go through the process. We told them about how we did um, the people's hearings after the official hearings because their official hearings were just performative. It's just a show to satisfy the courts, but they weren't really actually listening
Right.
to people because they gave everybody 2 minutes. They made people wait hours and hours. People who drove 10 hours to be there because it's freaking Texas,
Yeah.
right? We've got no public transportation. Our state is like huge. And people drove 10 hours, waited 5 hours, and were told to go home because after 5 hours, they were done. And so we said, screw that.
Mhm.
You drove 10 hours to be here. You get to testify. And so we held our own hearings. We brought our own members there. We sat them down. We listened to the people. We recorded it and we submitted it to the courts. And the court says, thank you. This is good evidence. Right. And other states are like, that solves our problem.
Right.
That is simple solution solves their problem because the Republicans in those other states, they got word from the Texas Republicans, hey, this is effective strategy in shutting them down to make sure there's nothing in the record for the courts to hear. This
Right.
is simple, low cost, easy solution that makes people happy and gets the evidence that we need. Bam, just like that. And all that took was a 2-minute conversation.
Sure.
And like so much of that, like, and there's other states that say, well, this is what we're gonna do. And I'm like, oh man, if we had to do it again, we would definitely do that too. Um, some of the more intensive things are like sharing redistricting resources. The number of people who do this on our side is very limited.
Mm.
We don't always have the money to pay them. The other side is very, very well
Yeah.
funded because it's the oligarchs and the billionaires and the Musks and all those buttholes, right? And they're happy to throw billions at this. Money is nothing to them because
Right.
it's all our money, right? And so like we have to be more frugal. We have to share resources and be more considerate. And like this is it. And this is the theme for everyone, right? How do we fight them across the country? It is by being united. There is only one answer, and it is the most American answer possible. The way we survive, the way we get our country back is by being Americans. Americans, we may not always like be best friends with each other, but we very clearly understand the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And we are happy to work with allied communities and neighbor and other interest groups to say, like, look, we don't always see eye to eye, but we believe in a country that respects and tolerates everyone, that we give everyone a fair shot. That just because you're rich and you have a name on a building doesn't mean you get more or less than anyone else. And I know every community, one after another, are willing to fight for that. And what I'm saying is, what we've been saying is, we don't have to fight alone. We don't have to fight in silos. We don't have to let them separate us again and again and again. Um, I keep telling the Asian community, we have our own attacks. They're anti-Asian attack after anti-Asian attack. Like there's anti-Chinese attacks, anti-Indian attacks, anti-Muslim attacks. And I said, even within our own group, we don't necessarily recognize that the anti-Chinese attack are the same as the anti-Indian attacks are the same as anti-Muslim attacks, right? But then I have to go tell those communities, hey, your attacks are the same as the ICE attacks against the Latino community, are the same as the redistricting attacks against the Black community, are the same as, right? And you can just go on. And once everyone understands that, like, the knife is at all our throats, then fight together. And once we realize, and the Republicans dragged me for saying this. They dragged me for like 2 weeks on national news for saying this. But the day that we recognize and realize that we all share the same oppressor, the boot that is on all of our necks is the same boot. The day we recognize that, the day we realize that as a community, is the day we start winning.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point. Like you said, the Southern strategy was to just separate everybody, make them, feel.
Yep.
And if I mean, I'm in New York City, so I can't speak to what it's like in Texas. But at least from afar, it seems like it's become even more flagrant in a lot of ways. Like the ICE stuff. I mean, the anti-Sharia. I was like, where did that come from?
No, it's far beyond that. No, I mean, it is so far beyond that. It is like it's Black Mirror. I want to say Twilight Zone, but I'm not sure anybody's watched Twilight Zone. But it is a Black Mirror world out here. We have a statewide candidate running for office that is publicly and seriously calling for the deportation of 100 million people from this country. That means every single Asian, every single Latino, every single African American, every person who is non-white will be deported. That is their goal. They are publicly stating it out loud. He was nominated by the Texas Republicans by an overwhelming margin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ken Paxton.
They're not kidding about this. There was a public official, one of the candidates that ran for AG and didn't win, very loudly and publicly called for me to be denaturalized and to be arrested and deported for standing up to Trump. He is now the newly appointed U.S. Attorney General in the Southern District of Texas.
Oh. Yeah, how do you kind of, I mean, it's gotten really extreme. Paxton, I think, is another level. We can talk about him. Like, how do you?
Oh my God, the corruption.
How do you function in that world?
It is just seriously banana land. I mean, let me just to go through the whole thing of Paxton. Like, this is easily like giving Donald Trump a run for his money in terms of the corruption Olympics.
Sure.
Just there is so much crap. Like literally last session, we had to vote on a budget item for millions of dollars to pay off the settlement from him being sued and losing, but being sued by his own staff, his executive level staff, his number 1, 2, and 3, right? Sued him because he violated the Whistleblower Act when they reported him to the FBI for public corruption, for taking bribes.
Right.
Right?
How is he still in office?
He's still in office. He's still the Attorney General. Like literally, his own staff sued him and won for reporting him for public corruption, for taking bribes. And instead of the FBI arresting him and charging him, he fired his staff and they sued and won. Like, and this, on top of this is the type of thing that we took to the Texas House. We impeached him in the Texas House by overwhelming margins, 2/3.
The Republicans too.
Super majority, including almost all the Republicans, because the corruption was so public. Like everybody knew. And then what people were really shocked about was not the corruption, but all the corruption that they thought they knew, but there was more.
Sure.
Like even as corrupt as people already believed he was, people said, holy crap, there's more. He's still doing, like, while he was being watched by the government, by the FBI, he was doing actually more corruption. And he was like, whatever.
How did the state Senate keep him? What was that? What was going on there? I know that the politics are complicated. I think he was acquitted, I guess, or he's allowed to stay in office.
No. You know what happened?
What's that?
He was indicted by the Texas House. He was impeached, indicted. Yep. That was sent over to the Texas Senate. The Texas Senate had a 2-week hearing, and they put on evidence after evidence after evidence after evidence after evidence. But none of that was enough because the 2 Texas billionaires who want to turn our state into a theocracy called Dan Patrick, our lieutenant governor, who's up for re-election right now, called Dan Patrick up and said, we have a $3 million check for you. The next day, Ken Paxton his case was suddenly just, it's time for this case to be over with. And it was over. And suddenly he was found not guilty.
That's convenient.
Like 20-something charges. Not a single one even the ones that were confirmed by a federal grand jury, those aren't any good, right? So this is like Tammany Hall, like beyond Tammany Hall kind of corruption. Just they don't even care anymore. They're not even bother hiding it. They're just like, what are you going to do to us? Trump
Right.
controls the FBI, right? Trump controls the DOJ. He prosecutes his political enemies, and he lets like child rapists free. He sets like fraudsters free. I mean, like literally, the guy committed like $700 million of fraud. Spent like 3 months in jail, and before Trump pardoned him.
Right.
Amazing.
Yeah, and he's the sort of guy that, I mean, also even just personally, right? His wife left him because he was violating their marriage biblically, and I think he got caught like in a Scandinavian country he's having an affair or something like that. It just things sort of just slide. I don't know. It's, at least for me, like I see it and then it kind of feels like it slides away, but maybe that's not the case in Texas.
No, I mean I think the adultery thing is by now in this like realm just like, and what?
Right.
What?
Right.
Adultery is like the least of his problems, right? The bribery and the open corruption, I would say, is the top. I mean, the going after political enemies, going after people who criticize him, investigating communities, churches, synagogues, mosques, because he feels like it.
Yeah.
Right? Not because there's evidence there, but because he wants to make a point. That's the real danger, right? This biggest issue with his adultery is like, we're like, wait, which mistress are we on right now?
Sure. Yeah, is he using public funds to travel
Yeah.
for it? I guess that's the corruption there. But I mean, he also went after like trans kids. He just kind of like everyone will go after without really regard for the law.
He is the MAGA smorgasbord. Like literally, he doesn't know what he stands for, and he just throws everything out there. And just like if he just spews enough MAGA vomit, then Donald Trump will love him, right? And that's the irony is he has been vying for the attorney general job for the United States for so long, but like the irony is Trump can't stand him because he has physical disabilities, and Trump can't stand that.
Yeah,
right. He's got a lazy eye, and he's got a speech impediment, and every time like it comes up, people say, well, we're thinking about having Paxton and stuff. Like, dude, Trump hates Paxton. No matter how much Paxton wants Trump to love him, Trump hates Paxton.
I guess he endorsed him over Cornyn because he's bitter at Cornyn.
Yeah, because like Trump can't stand looking at him, like because that's how shallow both of them are.
Yeah,
and they're perfect for each other. Good.
And so, I mean, think back to the new Southern strategy. The idea is to finally be able to both defend yourself, but also hopefully flip seats when legislatures win, a higher office. Like Democrats, and this better than me, have been trying forever for Texas. It felt like Beto in 2018 seemed like it was close. Like it's been this like tantalizing thing, and you talk about demographics, that shift.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think they've missed over the years what have they been missing to like make that switch? And is there this year any different?
You're asking me like, what's wrong with the world question. I mean, how much time you got?
I got all time.
Let's do just brass tacks, right? Let's just say the big stuff. Look, Texas has been largely ignored by national Democrats for, let's say, 30 years, right? Once Texas went red, basically everyone pulled out, and people are happy to fly into the state, raise a bunch of money, and then GTFO and never come back, right? And that doesn't help us because that money was really, really needed to build up infrastructure. And right now, our issue is like there's no infrastructure. I went down to the Valley and talked to the Valley, and the Valley, South Texas used to be known for having a machine, right? A real political machine, like the old school kind. The ones that got stuff done and made sure that gave like that community enormous outsized power. Because they always could be counted on. And over time, the machine started falling apart. Right. And I went down there and asked them, is the machine still working? And people said, yeah, but pieces of the machine are 70 and 80 years old. Yeah. Like somebody's got to replace it. And we've not really spent the time and the effort and the money to go out there and say, okay, We know this machine is amazing, but it needs some updating, needs some new lubrication, needs some new parts. Let's do it. And this is one of those things like people say like, well, let's flip Texas. Let's flip Texas. Well, Texas ain't going to flip by itself. Like work's got to be done. Resources have to be put in. You can't say Texas, why haven't you turned blue yet when people don't put the resources in?
Right.
Right.
That's demographics were destiny, and that's not always true.
Well, it's not just that, right? So 2030 is what? The next census, right?
Yeah.
And the next census, everybody already knows. Next census, New York is losing congressional seats. California is losing congressional seats. Those congressional seats are coming to Texas because we're growing while they're shrinking, right? Well, they're staying still and we're growing. Right. And so how much money do we spend on a competitive congressional race on either coast? 10, 15, 20 million, right? And for like one seat, right? And we're telling people, look, Democrats are under 10% of seats away from the majority, right? And if we pick up 14 seats out of the 150, if we pick up 14 seats, we control the House. If we control just the House by even a single member, Republican redistricting bills die. Yeah. I promise you. Every single time. Unless they're willing to compromise, their Republican redistricting bills will die. Imagine 2031 if we are not in charge, right? The state right now is about, we're easily minority majority. Yeah. But yet, both new congressional seats after the 2020 redistricting, or 2021 redistricting, both were white majority districts. Right? When 96% of the growth in this state is minority communities, 100% of the new seats were white majority. Like, how did that happen? Well, Republican redistricting maps, right?
Right.
That won't. If we're in charge in at least one chamber, that will not fly. I promise you, that will not fly. Right. And even like right now, like 75% of our congressional seats are tilted towards Republicans. If we can say like, we'll split the baby with you, 50-50. We pick up like 15 seats just like that.
Yeah.
And how much does a Texas House seat cost? North of somewhere like a really competitive one, north of 300, but well under $1 million.
Wow.
Like we have like one seat that's $1 million, but most of our competitive House seats are like 300,000, right? 400,000. And the Republicans might outspend us 2-1, 3-1, 4-1. We can handle that. We're used to beating them, like beating their asses, like being outspent 3-4-1. We just can't do it being outspent 20-1,
right?
Or 30-1, 40-1, right? And so, and when we're telling people, look, holy crap. Okay, $300,000 per seat. We need 14 of those, right? Just do the quick math. And versus a $15-20 million fight for one single congressional seat, what's a better value? Right? Just a small investment in Texas could potentially mean we take the House.
You know, when you talk about the machine breaking down, I mean, it was one of the reasons why I think Democrats didn't. Again, this is my from far away analysis, but they would really dominate near the border, right? Rio Grande and all that area, and that's kind of gone by the way. So it's gone to the right, and so is that the kind of thing you mean?
Not yet. Like, kind of.
Well, not yet. It did in 2024. It may not again, but so
that's not going to happen again.
Yeah.
No. Look. I think Donald Trump's done a lot of the work to turn that around for us. I think I don't know how much time you have, but like I'm probably not the right person to give you an in-depth breakdown of the Latino community in the South Texas. But from what I understand from all my discussions with people down there, and in all my visits, every single person says everyone is pissed, right? Not just like a little bit, but people are mad. People are real mad because they felt used, felt lied to, felt betrayed. And there's a more of an anger behind betrayal than there is about disappointment, right? I think people might be disappointed in Democrats, but people are now pissed at Republicans. And like you go down there, I went down to Callan after the corn break in the like November, December of 25, and McAllen's probably one of the bigger cities down there. I used to, I did a clerkship down there for the 13th Port, and it is a beautiful place, vibrant, growing really fast. I went to downtown on a Saturday afternoon when it should be packed. This is their main promenade. I saw 5 people.
Oh,
Like normally there shouldn't be parking room, and I saw 5 people. Every other store was shuttered, not like closed for good, but just lights off because there's no workers.
yeah,
Because undocumented people won't come in, and then the people with green cards and stuff, they say, well, we're next, and we're not coming in either. And then after a while, the American citizens say, shit, like I don't want to. ICE has no problem arresting Latinos even if they're citizens,
yeah, or
right?
killing someone in Houston recently, right?
Killing them, or beating the hell out of them, or keeping them in jail for like 6 months with no attorney and no way to get out. Like people said, I don't want any piece of that, and said like, I'm not going to work either. The entire construction industry in the south of Texas is dead, is at zero.
That's wild.
All right. They can't. They're having trouble building parts of the border wall now. And that's at $100 million a mile, and they can't find people to build it.
That's a really nice encapsulation of the second Trump term, right? Not enough workers because of ICE to build his border wall.
I mean, they're sending the workers back, and the ones that are still here are like afraid to come out.
Sure.
And you look across Houston. I mean, like I've gotten calls from probably a half dozen people who have had their nannies arrested, who have done nothing, who have just been here for years, just working and just taking care of their families and whatever else. I don't know how many nannies there. One of our local schools had a teacher taken. We've had a student taken. Just up and down of these are people who make our lives better and like do work. They make our society function. And like people have talked about this for a long time. And we've always said, hey, we're not going to roll that dice. That's a dangerous game of Russian roulette. So because we're wrong, we crash our economy. And we've done this a number of times. Like people have played this game in other countries in past histories, and we all know what the result is. It is not good. There's a reason why we've never done this. There's a reason why our country, we could have done these roundups before, and we never have. Because we know that these workers are essential to our lives. These are our neighbors, our friends, sometimes even like a lot of places, especially in the Valley, our families.
Yeah.
And we took them for granted. And like we treated them like they were murderers and child rapists because they didn't have a piece of paper. But yet actual child rapists are leading our country.
Yeah.
And we do nothing about it. Like that is the final hypocrisy of this country, right? That if you have power and money, then nothing matters. Then whatever lie you say is the truth, and oh my God,
yeah, it's got to be frustrating being down there. And I mean, you talk Trump has done a lot of the work, right? ICE, all this, everything expensive. So what is the other half of that work? Would you say, is it like building party apparatus? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people talk about, we got to rebuild the Democratic Party, but then like, what does that actually mean? It look like?
It means a lot of things that require a lot of hard work, a lot of elbow grease, and a lot of resources. So look, what do I hear from people up and down? I talk to people who are not in politics every single time. And what do I hear? Republicans, oh my God, they're so horrible. Right? But Democrats, I don't know. The Democrats. And I'm like, what did Democrats ever do?
Not
and
much, I guess.
Well, the trans stuff, the drag queens. I'm like, we didn't do any of that. The Republicans carried bills on that. The Republicans made that a talking point. But that's the point.
Right.
We have been absent from this narrative. We have been absent like from the field of battle for so long that people just assumed whatever they wanted to assume about us. That whatever the Republicans told them about Democrats, that's what people believe. Like literally, I'm dealing with Chinese Americans that are having their rights restricted. Like we're repassing laws that were passed 100 years ago and were vacated and nullified by the Civil Rights Act, and we've repassed them now. And I'm talking to Chinese people who say, like, dude, people are passing anti-Chinese laws against you.
Right.
And they're like, well, but the Democrats, like, they're kicking you out of the country, taking away your rights, but you're worried about Democrats?
So how do you break through that? I mean, it's such a, I mean, it's partly noise. I work in the media. I know it's partly noise,
Yeah.
but how else do you, like, that's such a frustrating thing, but how do you, it seems Democrats have not been able to break through it in a lot of ways. How do you do it?
Here's my new attempt.
Okay.
So when I go talk to the community, and whether that's the Chinese East Asian community, whether it's the Indian community, whether it's a Muslim community, and people always come to me and say, oh, but I'm a Republican. I can't fight against the stuff that the Republicans are doing, right? And I can't go against all this stuff. And I say, look, this is not a partisan issue. There are Republicans who vote against this stuff and fight against it, and there are Democrats who have voted for it. Very few on both sides, but it happens. But that's not important. All I need to know is this. Can you pass this simple test? Do you know who is a friend and who is an enemy? If there is a man who comes to your house and says, I'm going to burn your house down, is that a friend or an enemy? If another man says, I will stand by you and I will fight whoever comes to try to burn your house down, is that a friend or is that an enemy? I don't care what their background is. I don't care what their skin color is. I don't care what their creed is, what they believe. If a man says, I'm going to come and endanger your family and burn your house down, that is an enemy.
Yeah, it's not.
And if you don't know how to answer that question, I think you're probably part of the problem, right? But if you know that the people who say, we believe in you, we believe you have a right to be here, we believe you should have equal rights, we believe that you should not have your house burned down, and we will stand right here and we will fight with you to fight off anyone who tries to hurt you or your family. Who is your friend? Who is your enemy? If you can't answer this question, you fail. And you fail in the most spectacular way possible. That's it. Like, you don't need to know politics. You don't need to know Democrat, Republican. Who is a friend and who is an enemy? And right now, what I'm telling other communities is like what I said earlier. I'm telling our communities, look, Asian and African American, those two communities have the absolute worst relationship in America. Okay, sure. Let's just be honest about that. The height of it is probably like Rodney King riots, LA riots, right? We've never mended since then.
Okay,
and this is something I want to do for a long time. But what my statement to them, both of them, is: you may not like each other for various reasons, and that's fine. But the enemy of your enemy is your friend.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you have to understand. That's something in the Asian community. Like I've tried to talk to people about justice, about the American way, about freedom. That doesn't resonate.
Interesting.
But when you say they're going to steal your future, they're taking it away little bit by little bit before you've even noticed. And the only way to fight this is that we have to partner up with their enemies as well, right? The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Like that, make that our mantra. We say, I don't care you don't like them. I don't care you have reservations. I don't care that you don't agree on a lot of things. The only thing I need you to agree on is who is the enemy and who is our ally, right? I mean, that's it.
That brings to mind thinking about, like, so I'm in New York City. Obviously, our mayor we have our first Muslim mayor here. He's Democratic Socialist. Michigan.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it was great. I'm a fan. But then, like, we've got Democratic Socialists ish, whatever I'm doing. I'll say it is. He's running for. He's probably going to be the Senate nominee in Michigan. Francesca Hong, looks like who I've spoken with on this broadcast, looks like she's going to be the nominee in Wisconsin. So, one of the things that we hear a lot of Democratic pundits or new journalists are kind of hand-wringing about is like, oh, well, Republicans will use them, and Republicans say we're going to use them. Do you think that, like, as someone, you're in Texas, and that's a big Senate race there as well, are you worried at all about that, like them using them?
Yes.
Or do you think people care?
No. What I'm worried about is that we were to fall for that again. Mm-hmm. Because for the last 30 years, the way that Democrats have screwed themselves is by not listening to the people and by listening to the pundits and the experts and consultants who say, like, oh, you need to run to the middle. You need to run to the middle. The Republicans never run to the middle. No. The Republicans run as far right as they can possibly go every single time, as far as their district will allow, and they win every single time. And Democrats, instead of doing the things that the people actually demand, like fixing healthcare, fixing education, like having freaking, like, actual public transportation, right? Like simple things. that people all around the world have. And people say that we demand those things. And Democrats, I don't know. They might call us socialists. They might call us communists if we said like we should have like healthcare.
Right.
And so we just like, you know, we shoot ourselves in the foot and just go, oh, you know what? I'm going to run to the middle and disavow all the things that our own people have demanded.
We need tax credits.
And we get 2024.
Right.
Every single time. Right. And look, here's all I know about Mayor Mamdani. He delivers.
Yep.
Right. I don't care about his labels. I don't care about his skin color. I don't care about his religion. He is a politician, a leader who has said, I will do these things. When he takes office, he does those things. And he does them with astounding speed and accuracy. Every Democrat should aspire to that. Every Democrat, I'm telling all of our people, if we win, if we take the House, if we take Congress, if we take the Senate, whatever it is, we have to deliver. We have to deliver the same way Mayor Mamdani is delivering. That means no excuses. No like, oh, but the Republicans want to fight us. Don't care. Make it work. Make it happen. No one elected you for excuses. Make it work. Right. And this is, and stop like running to the middle and like offering people nothing. Like we're in this place because we've gotten nothing for the past like 40, 50 years.
Yeah.
Slowly having pieces of the American dream stripped away and privatized and deregulated and profit. And like, I think if there is one clear message Americans have been sending loud and clear on both sides is that people are real damn tired of that. They're real tired of the data centers, not just because they're data centers, because they're data centers that destroy our communities but give us nothing back. We're tired of they're stealing our privacy, not just because of privacy, because they steal it and profit off of it, and they make our lives miserable with nothing in return. Right?
Greg Abbott had to pivot a bit on that at data centers, right? Because he realized
don't fall for it.
He's pretending to.
They fund his campaigns. They fund his campaign. Don't believe it. Right? Those data centers have already built and approved. Like he might be holding on to a few for show, but it's just for show.
Sure.
These people are not stupid. They will not bite the hand that feeds them. Right?
So how do you deal with the divisive stuff, right? Like if they're going to say, hey, look at the communists. No, they're not communists, but let's say, look at the communists. They're going to call them in Wisconsin, in Michigan, right, in New York. Like, how do you remind people, hey, this is not what it's about? You know, like, or do you think people are like so sick of that it won't matter?
So look, the Republicans have been calling me a CCP spy for, I don't know, the entire time of my career, the entire length of my career. And they've really, really ramped up lately. They call me a communist. They call me a socialist. I don't know. I don't even care anymore.
Right.
They're just names. I've been called worse things by middle school boys. Like, Republicans, sirs, you have nothing on middle school boys when it comes to racism. Okay.
That's true. Very few people do.
Do better. Get better. Like your weak shit needs to stop. Like you need to up your game if you want to be really racist. And I don't care. I don't care anymore. Right? They can call me whatever they want. What I care about is that I show people what leadership is, what the Democrats want to do, and what we're about. We're not here to argue with them about names. We're here to say, we want our damn education system back. We want a healthcare system that is not a laughing stock of the world, right? We are the most richest, most powerful country in the world. And everywhere around the world, people laugh at us. Why? Why do you want that? Why does that have to continue? Like, shouldn't we stop that? Shouldn't we as Americans say, we want to do better? And that's all I want people to know about Democrats is that we are here to do better. We may have been screw-ups in the past. Fine. I'm probably share some of that blame for that. No problem. But what I will commit to is we have learned from our mistakes. And we are committed to doing better. We are committed 100% doubling down on everything that we've done in the past, fighting for the middle class, fighting for the working class, fighting for people who have nothing, fighting for people who have no voice, fighting for people who have been oppressed, people who have their rights taken away, people who have been treated as second class. We're fighting for everybody. And this includes MAGA. This includes the uneducated white MAGA population that thinks that we look down on them because they're MAGA. No, we look down on you because you're anti-American, because you're throwing away your own inheritance, because you're throwing away all this country, all that made this country beautiful and good. And we're saying you don't have to do that anymore. We will fight for you as well. White working class people deserve a break just as much as anybody else. And I know that Donald Trump used them by telling them that he cared about them. But what Democrats are saying is we have always cared, because you look at our policies. Our policies were the ones that kept your communities safe. Our policies are the ones that kept money flowing to you. Our policies are the ones that kept your schools open, kept your hospitals open. As soon as the Republicans took charge in the state, our education went down.
Vouchers
went down. Too. Hospitals are closing. Schools are closing. Our schools, some of our rural communities, our schools went down from 5 days a week to 4 days a week.
It's brutal.
And now they're trying to decide, should we go down to 3 or should we close school buildings?
Yeah.
And these are communities where the schools are 100 miles apart, right? And you're telling families you're gonna bus your kids 70, 80, 90, 100 miles every single day, both ways? That ain't gonna happen, right? These families are just gonna, you know what? That boy doesn't need to go to school, right?
Yeah.
Over and over again, you're going to watch these communities die. People are already leaving rural communities, like these hardcore 90% Republican areas. People have been leaving them for decades. And what the Republicans are doing now by this, like killing the farmers and killing ranchers and like in Texas right now, they just killed THC.
I was just going to ask about that.
THC. That was a huge boon for the rural community. Because where are they growing? Where are they processing? Where are they doing all those things? Out in the rural communities.
What was it? I think they tried for a lot of years, right? This is a ban THC, and they finally able to do it.
So we had passed. The federal farm bill plus our own hemp bill legalized hemp.
Right.
Now, whether they understood what that meant or not at the time, I don't really care. But ultimately, the result is across the United States, hemp-based THC is legal. What is hemp-based THC compared to cannabis-based THC? Exactly the same, right? But you know what has changed? We have veterans who have suffered for years, decades in Texas, begging for some relief, finally get relief, and relief that doesn't cost them a fortune, right? We have people who have illnesses. We have people like me who just want to go to sleep at night.
Yeah.
Right? Like people who have hard lives and do hard work, and like I have back pains, I have stomach issues, and like I just want to be able to go to sleep.
Yeah, I get it. Believe me.
And everybody and they're so happy to take it away simply because an industry told them to.
The alcohol industry, I guess.
Because there's not enough profit. Because the people who are profiting aren't profiting enough anymore.
And it's the sort of thing that
suffer.
People in Texas would be pissed about, right? Like taking away that freedom. It doesn't seem like a traditional conservative idea.
Yeah. And what really floors me, I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but like the libertarians here, like, holy crap, like, I mean, the libertarians, I don't know, you guys got whiplash. They started with a Tea Party and saying like, we want government small enough to drown in a bathtub. And now we're like, we're going to monitor everyone's social media to make sure you don't say things we don't like.
Yeah. Put the 10 Commandments up in the classrooms.
And and all that stuff. And I always want to find like my little libertarian friends is like, hey, how's MAGA life? Right? Like what's it like selling out every single value you've ever had? And, I have some friends who are like serious Republicans, the being anti-tariff has been a core Republican value since the Great Depression, because like
Right.
that was one of the reasons for the Great Depression. And the Republicans, like as a party platform, swore up and down they will never back tariffs ever again. And they flipped on like what 70, 80 years of doctrine in like 4 seconds. And it's like that is what your convictions are worth. Nothing. All right. When faced with the orange man, your convictions are nothing. So it's just like, as someone who watches this stuff, not just lives it, but actually watches it, and I read books on history and philosophy, and just watching wholesale an entire country like just be bamboozled and conned and just be so ready to give up their core ideals for what? For political gain by somebody else?
Yeah, so it's always somebody else's supposed to get
Yeah, I
into
mean,
it. They don't really get anything out of it.
like, hey, MAGA, Trump is like richer than he has ever been. I think he's made like $3 billion
Last year, so.
since starting office last January. And you guys are out there deciding or not if you can have enough money to buy dog food to eat. Like people in MAGA land are literally starving to death right now because Trump cut their food assistance in his big dumbass bill.
A huge amount of people losing SNAP and Medicaid in Texas as well.
Yeah. And it hasn't even fully hit yet. So those cuts on top of the cuts to the state food pantries, people are going to feel that real soon. Because for a while, the food pantries are like, hey, we're rough, but we're going to survive. More donations are coming in. It's going to be okay. And now all those resources are used up. So what happens in the next few months? Good luck. Everyone gets what they voted for.
Do you anticipate, a big swing in Texas this, we'll let it go soon, but a big swing in Texas this year?
I hope so. For the sake of our nation, right? Because it's not just about my politics. Texas is the heart of this, right? Trump may have been from, I guess, New York or Florida, whatever you want to put it.
Sure.
But Texas, this is where it all starts. This is the laboratory for evil. This is the laboratory for every twisted, immoral, unethical, illegal, unconstitutional thing you can think of. If it has been done, it was tried here first. Well, but Florida's giving us good run for our money too.
They've really upped their game.
But this is, if you want to rebuke Trump, invest in Texas. If we can flip the Texas House, that will be the biggest middle finger you can give Donald Trump. Because his biggest supporter, the single biggest pocket of his votes, his most important allies, his biggest suck-ups are all here. If you can help us flip the Texas House, it will mean more to his destruction than just about anything else. And it will send a very clear message to Republicans. The end is near.
And last question on that with that in mind, flipping houses and flipping legislatures, so you had your meeting with the new Southern strategy in Atlanta. What's next for it? Do you guys have regular meetings planned? What is, I'm sure you're trying to grow. What do you guys got on tap?
This is going to be a familiar theme. Yes, we would love to do more. What we'd like to do next is sort of start coordinating our comms on how do we talk about these things? How do we talk about education? How do we talk about healthcare? How do we talk about redistricting, which is like the reason why we were formed, right? But more than that, I want us to teach all Southern legislatures and legislative members, how do you go talk to the Latino community about ICE? How do you go talk to the African American community about redistricting? How do you talk to the Asian community about anti-Asian hate? Because if you can talk to them, then maybe they'll stop thinking of Democrats as just, those people who like drag queens. And like when people can say Democrats are the ones who are defending our community, they won't care about any other issue, about any other policy, because what matters more than the existence of your community, right? When the Republicans have people openly saying, Deport 100 million. Get rid of all of them. Citizens, non-citizens, they don't care, right? I want everybody, every community to say the people who came to us without even being asked, who defended us at their own risk, were Democrats, without question, every single time. Yeah. That's what we need. And I want to be able to, for those legislatures, those legislative members, to go back to the communities and say that, and talk to those communities in the right way, in a way that makes sense, that is culturally appropriate, and actually helps us build bridges. Because the way we win this, there's no miracle cure. There's no magic beans. There's no knight in shining armor that's running up, that's going to save us at the last moment. It's us. That's it. It's just you and me and the guy down the street and everybody else. If we as average people don't put this together, we're done. Because that's what America has always been about. America has never been a country about royalty or some great superhero. The superheroes in this country has always been us. We have always been the people who go and do extraordinary things time and time again. And this is no different. And you know what? Sorry. I could not be more proud to be an American, to call myself an American at this time. Because this is what being an American means. This fight. Being an American is not about us in good times. Like, being an American is this moment, is this fight. Like, this is what this country has been all about for the entirety of our existence. It is about the people and our ability and willingness to fight for what we want and fight for each other.
Absolutely. Well, listen, everyone, Gene Wu, I think everyone's standing up and getting excited, because this is a lot on your plate. You got a lot going on in Texas, but like you said, it's the front line. So people can find you online. What are your socials? How can people find you?
Add Gene for Texas on everything.
Cool. Makes it easy.
Yeah. Gene FOR Texas.
Awesome.
Donate to Democrats in Texas, please. House Democratic Caucus Campaign, HDCC.
Awesome. We'll get a
link. And also the New Southern Strategy. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Really appreciate it, Representative Wu.
Peace.
Take care.